Hey, hi Jinesh.
Hey Siddharth, how are you?
How are you, Jinesh?
I'm good, I'm good. How are you doing?
Yes, doing fine, Jinesh. So, this channel, I would like to first welcome you on this channel. As you have already know that this channel name is Cash and Code. So, this channel will be solely dedicated for the, you can say that it's type of network building channel.
Mm-hmm.
We'll keep connecting with the people from different industry, we can say there are different domains of the industries, and we'll talk about data, AI, machine learning, deep learning, some finance related things like investments and all for the long term horizon. So this channel will keep connecting with the people of these domains, and will bring different perspective of the different peoples who are doing well in their respective domains and jobs. Okay, so you are the first person
Right.
with whom I'm connecting.
Thank you. Thank you
So
for
I
having
would
me.
like to have your opinion, and this today's podcast will be dedicated to the topic which is AI. So we'll talk about in general that how AI. There is a lot of like this is a most commonly
Mm-hmm.
buzzword these days. So we'll talk about that how AI is going to shape the future, and how it's transforming things around you. Is has AI arrived, or is AI is just a buzzword that we talk about like it will come in future and replace your job and do this and do all. Okay, so we'll see that how it goes on, and we'll discuss this on multiple aspects
Sure.
of AI. Okay, so first I would
Sure.
like to give
Yes.
my introduction. And so my name is Siddharth, and I am actually from the tech background. I completed my engineering in 2020, and it is in electronics and communication engineering. And then I did my master's in data science and engineering in 2022 from BITS Pilani, which is MTech in data science and engineering.
Mm-hmm.
And overall level, I am working since almost 5 years, and my whole this work experience is revolving around the same domain, which is data science and AI. And apart from this data science, I have, you can say that, a passionate interest towards finance, and in finance particularly in investment domain. So I do a lot of research and all these things in finance as well. So right now I'm working in the finance domain as well. I'm working for a financial institution and doing this tech work of data science and
Right.
machine learning. So I'd like to first you also introduce yourself to our audience, then we'll
Sure.
slowly move on chapter by chapter.
Sure. So first of all, I want to welcome all of your audience in this platform. I would like to thank you as well for inviting me as your first guest. Very happy and I'm hopeful that together we can help to change somebody's life, or maybe we can talk about something that can help somebody in their career, or even in making some decisions related to their career. So thank you so much for having me, Siddharth. Coming to my experience, just like you, I have been in the data analytics and data science field for the last 5 years. I started with my BTech in engineering from SRM University with specialization in electronics and communication. I worked in the data consultancy services for 2 years, where I was working as a data analytics consultant for GE Healthcare. After that, I joined JP Morgan Chase, where I worked in different teams. First as a data analyst, now I'm working as a quant associate in the team. So my experience has always been around data, in data, dealing with different kinds of problems, how we can make meaning out of just raw data. When you get some raw data, how can you get some meaning out of it so that it can help the business, not just with cost, but also with different perspective of what insights can you generate from that. So yeah, we all know AI is the buzzword now. It's new for all of us, and it's completely evolving, completely changing each and every day. So yeah, we will maybe discuss about more on AI, and yeah, we can take it forward from there.
Sure, Janish. So, Janish, I'd like to start this discussion from a very starting point, which is like very basic. So, like, I am assuming here that there is an audience that will come on this platform which has no idea about AI, but
Right.
all the day they are hearing about something about AI from here or there, but they don't know what
Mm-hmm.
is AI, neither they are concerned about AI. But
Mm-hmm.
if AI is going to do some transformation, it's definitely going to affect everyone. It's not that it will only affect tech people
Right.
and it will not affect non-tech people, right?
Correct. Yes.
Because even if you just talk about this basic thing, right, this quick commerce, if you can take example. So quick
Mm-hmm.
commerce is nothing but it's a type of kirana store only, but on a online tech platform, and
Right.
it's like hampering the retail shops like at a huge level, right? It's almost, you are
Mm-hmm.
seeing that it's going to become a almost habit for in tier 2, tier 3 city as well in the upcoming future. Tier 1 city it has already captured. So
Correct.
we are going to discuss this from a common man's perspective as well, not just as a point of like techies that we are, so that most of the people can relate to it.
Right.
So I would like to, like, you should introduce me that suppose that I come from a non tech background,
Mm-hmm.
and you can consider that, you can assume that I live in a tier 3 city, or you can say
Mm-hmm.
that rural, some rural areas, because still 25 70% of the population is coming from the rural areas still at this moment. So I'll say that if I'm a newbie and I ask you that, Jinesh, can you tell me actually what is AI, and I don't understand anything technically,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so how would you like to tell someone from that perspective?
Right. So AI, ML, and all the different words that we have, we need to understand that this is this is again something of a new concept. It's not new, actually, to be honest. It's not new. It has been there for years, but it is just picking up the speed of how people are getting to know about it. What are the different features? What are the different applications of these technologies? People are getting to know more and more about it, and we are getting to see its impact in the overall industry, in the overall economy of the country as well. But in short, if somebody needs to understand AI, because all of us, it's not just people who are living in tier 1, tier 2 city, actually all of us are being impacted by AI in some or the other way. So let's say that somebody is using an Uber or an Ola app. So even knowingly or unknowingly, we are sending our information of where we are going, how what location is being tracked. So that kind of information is already being collected by the third party companies, and based on that, they are able to understand. They are able to give us recommendations on where should we go next. Let's say that if you if you keep going to a cafe on a daily basis, wherever you stay in, that location is being fed into a basic model, or let's say that a computer system or a database, that Jinesh or Siddharth is going to this particular place again and again, again and again. So this is what he or she likes to do. So that consistency, that behavior is being tracked by multiple companies, and that is how they're trying to understand what is our behavior like. So that is where we get to know from different companies that what is our behavior, what are we talking about. So even basic example is that we all have a mobile phone, so we don't even know that how many access and how many permissions we have given to our mobile phones, even to Google. Our audio is always on, our video can be on sometimes. So the Google is getting all of that data. It is able to store all of that data, process all of that huge data set, and give us recommendations based on what it sees in our behavior. So when suddenly in your mobile phone, if you see some ad that is coming out that okay, you want to buy a watch, that is because Google is able to understand that maybe Siddharth wants to buy a watch. If you're getting recommendations of you should go for a Malaysia trip, or you should go for a Dubai trip, that is because you might have talked to a friend, or you might have searched, or you might have Googled something related to travel or something related to that. That is how the system is able to understand what you want to do, and what it can help you do in the future. So this is just like, you can say that it's a duplicate of a human brain. Basically AI is what nothing but a duplicacy of a human brain. We are trying to create a duplicate human being that can do human tasks with much more ease, without any vacation, without any problems. It does not have to rest. That is what the end goal is, that everyone is trying to achieve, that we can have people, we can have human beings who can go till the end. They don't need rest, they don't need vacations, they can just work 24/7. But obviously we also have a limitation, where the robots or the AI can never think like a human brain. The human brain itself is one of a kind, which cannot be replicated 100% into any robot or any machine, because we ourselves have to build that. So we cannot replicate what we already have. So that is what the distinction will always be between a human being and an AI system. And yeah, I think the AI, it's going to, as you mentioned, it's going to change all the industries. It's going to change and impact a lot of people. And when people start talking about how is it going to affect their jobs. See, going back to the computer era, when computers were not there, when people were using typewriters. So when computer was introduced at that time, people were also afraid that the typewriting job is going to go. But slowly with time, people started evolving their skill set. People started improving their skill set, that this is the new future. This is what is going to take over. And slowly the typewriter industry started to diminish. So that is what is going to happen with AI as well. Obviously, it is like one of the largest evolutions that is going to come in the industry. It is maybe more than the internet era or the even the introduction of computer era. But this is where we all have an opportunity of understanding what it is, how can we as normal humans benefit out of it, and what are the skill sets that we need to just make a career in this field, make an industry, make something out of it. Because what AI has also done, because we all are just talking about the negatives, that AI is going to take away jobs, AI is going to replace people, but it has a lot of positives as well. It is going to help you get a lot more efficient. You won't have to write thousands and thousands of lines of code now. The AI system can directly write all of that for you. You won't have to remember a lot of information. Nowadays, if you see, you don't have to remember things, because AI is there to remember things for you, even for business, even for anything. If you need information about something, you can just ask that same thing to the Google or the AI. So that is an opportunity for all of us, where the human brain will start moving into more of a creative side. How can you think more? What kind of things what kind of different things can you think about? That is where our human brain should focus on, rather than doing the same repetitive task that and uh, machine AI and all the different technologies can take over.
I think you raised a very good point that there are things like lot of repetitive operational tasks that AI can easily do, and human don't need to focus on that because those are not directly contributing to your productivity. I think, and if you can save
Mhm.
that time, you can focus on the real things on which there is a production for the firm or for the country that can happen. So the time utilization is the one of the very good point that I think you raised. Moving forward, Jinesh, I wanted to ask you that okay, all these things are there, but suppose we are now, we say that we are the IT capital of the world. Okay, but
Mhm.
let's assume that we know that almost 80% of the like our population which gets graduated, almost I read a data that almost 85% of the population is from a non-tech background.
Mhm.
Okay, and 15% only belongs to some. In 15% also there is a bifurcation which belongs to, some belongs to CA, some belongs to legal domains like advocates
Right.
and all, and then there is a population that comes for this IT people. And when I say IT people, I'm assuming all the technical branches, not just computer
Right.
science. It's mechanical, civil, or anything which is we call BTech, which is BTech, MTech, all these
Mhm.
things. So just wanted to ask you, okay, even if what do you think that suppose I come from a non-tech background. I have done something
Mhm.
like, let's say, BSc or BA or something.
Mhm.
Now the job market if of India is very, you can say that, imbalance, in an imbalance sense,
Mhm.
in the sense that there is a sector which provides the humongous amount of jobs, and which is IT sector. We are not a manufacturing country yet. We are slowly progressing in that domain. And like China is a manufacturing hub of the country. Most of the jobs in China are related to manufacturing. They are not the IT capital of the world. And but we being the IT capital, I wanted to ask you that if I am coming from a non-tech background, and
Hmm.
I know that I don't have future anywhere else. Okay, that means what I'm trying to say, that it's not that it's 100%, but suppose there are chances of me getting a job is very less in the domain that I have studied, because I come from a non-tech background. The reason is your demand is very high and supply is very low, because you don't have
Hmm.
jobs in those domains. So if I want to now come to the IT domain and get a job, and if I ask you that what do you suggest me, what should I do if I am coming from non-tech background to enter this domain, at
Hmm.
least so that I can enter this domain, what should I learn, how should I proceed? Because before learning anything, I need a roadmap, because I don't have an idea
Right.
itself what is this tech and all. So I wanted your opinion on this topic basically.
Sure. I think you raised a good point. I think instead of saying that we are the IT capital, we should say we are the engineering capital of the world. We are producing more engineers than I think. I don't even know how many engineers we produce in a year, but it is a good thing because we like in the entire industry all around the world, Indian engineers are always in demand. The tech knowledge that we possess is utilized in each and every department, not just healthcare, finance, but in each and every department. You would be curious, you would be surprised to see that all the IT heads in any multinational company is usually Indian. Is usually an Indian or somebody who has studied from an Indian university and then migrated to that country. So it is a good thing that we have representation of our country in the world map around it. But for somebody who wants to enter this domain, I think the first and basic thing that somebody should start with is to understand the computer system, the basic architecture of a computer. How does a computer system work? Because I have met a lot of people from the non-technical background who are not even aware of the basics of a computer system. So first, our first step should always be understand how a computer system works. There are a lot of good videos just for you to go through on YouTube where you can just understand what is the need of a computer system, how does a computer system work, what is the brain of a computer system. Once we are clear about it, we should always look into different things. We should try to understand that what are the different job markets that we have in this field. It can be a software engineer, it can be a DevOps engineer, it can be a data analyst, it can be a data scientist, it can be a AI engineer. So there are different domains, and based on what suits us, based on what you like to do. If you are somebody who loves to learn coding, then there will be a certain job family that you can look into. You can get the required skill set for that. But I think with AI coming into the picture, all this, I think going forward in the future, the educational parameter to get into a certain role, like if you need to have an engineering degree to become a data analyst, those parameters or those barriers to get into a certain role are going to become less and less, because AI is going to create like an open source education system for all of us. It's not like that if I have done a BCom or if I have done a BBA, I cannot learn how to code. I can easily go to Chat GPT or I can easily go to Grok and I can just tell it, I can just write a prompt saying that can you please create a 12-week master course for me that can help me learn Python coding or SQL or those kind of skills. So it is going to diminish the barrier to get into a job, because I don't feel that going forward the employers are going to rely only on the education that you have, but they are going to be more specific on the skill set that you hold and how you're going to bring a change. So start with computer applications, try to understand what are the roles that you are interested in. If you are somebody who is more of an analytical mindset, if you like getting deeper into things, then even data analytics, data science, or an AI engineer, prompt engineer. These are the different job families that you can look into. You can start with the data analyst, you can move into data scientist, then you can transition into the AI world. This is how what you should do is that you should always see what is the exact need in that particular job family. What is the exact need? What do you need to become a software development engineer, SDE? You need to learn coding, but coding is not the only thing that you need to learn. You need to also have a good grasp of getting deeper into things, of understanding how the code is relating to the business. So if you have that kind of a mindset, that you can get into that. If you are somebody who likes talking to the business, who likes talking or interacting with people, then even a business analyst role is a good opportunity that somebody can look into. Once that is sorted out, I think what people can do is they can use different platforms, they can use different tools, technologies, like the all the AI agents that we have. They can use that to start learning one skill. I would say that start with one thing, then get deeper into what is required next. So if you want to get into the data science or data analytics industry, start learning with basic Excel. How can you create pivot tables? How can you create dashboards in Excel? Just take a small data set, start creating those kind of things, so that it just helps your mind think in an analytical blend. So you don't have to start working on large data sets altogether. I have heard a lot of people that I am not able to find large data sets, I'm not able to find a good data set. You don't even need a data set. You can create a 10 or 15 row and column data set for yourself and just work with it, because you don't need a large data set to just get started. You can just start with it, see where it goes, see what you're able to understand, try to build something out of it, try to build something meaningful out of that, build some calculations, do something out of it. Then once you are done with Excel, then you can move to SQL, because SQL is the base of the entire data industry, where you will be taught about database systems. What is a database? Why do we need a database? What is the architecture of a database? So once you get into all of that, you will start learning about SQL, Python, and then once you move, you can get deeper into learning about dashboards. And once you are done with that, you can move transition into the data science industry, where you will learn about machine learning, Python, and those kind of stuff. So I think it's a step by step process, but the first thing is to understand and organize your thoughts of what you want to do, what is your strength, and what is the skill required for a particular job role, and then start learning all of that.
I think you raised a good point, Jinesh. And if I talk about, Jinesh, that when you talk about formal education, right? Suppose degree is there, okay.
Mhm.
So recently there has been a controversy around Zero, the founder, who raised a question that this MBA degree is not necessary and it's going to be irrelevant. There's been a huge controversy around that. But I have a point of view around this, that today, if we talk about a formal education, we see that formal education or a degree is a quite expensive thing in education world. Okay, a formal degree. But if I talk about that, suppose I have a graduation in my field or any field, and if I want to upskill myself, I'll say that upskilling yourself is almost free in today's world. Because if you go to any, if you just want to upskill yourself, there are like plenty of platforms which hardly provides you a very good and in detail course in within just 500 or 1000 rupees.
Right.
And from the perspective of a person who has a formal degree but does not have a skill set, that means I have a formal education but does not have a skill set. And I think this is the common in the, like, this whole job market, very common thing, that people have degree but they don't have a skill set, and they actually ask that I am a very well educated but I am not getting a job. So the job market is very like a clumsy, or it's a going very bad, all those stuffs they talk about. So if I
Right.
ask you that I want to upskill myself, I have a formal education, but formal education even I have, but if I speak honestly, in my graduation I have not gained any skill. It's very honest, I don't had any skill at that point of time. Whatever skilled I have learned, it's from my job, and maybe some amount of it from the post graduation. But at least in till graduation, I didn't have any idea. And in general, this happens with everyone. The people who are doing all this graduation, right? Even like I will say that 95% of the people don't know that what their real interest is and what they are going to do. You see that people graduating from some engineering background going into HR, some going into totally different thing. Like people are working in even medical field, in nursing related things after graduating from a tech background. So even people don't know that when I did not realize that where my interest is. Post till only till that I joined my first job, I realized that my interest in this and I want to do that work in the finance domain. That was my interest that I realized very late. So I'm not saying anyone who is like in the college to like go into upskilling studying, because I am of a different opinion that you should enjoy your college life as well. It's not always taking the pressure, because it's very necessary, I think, because I think the things that I have learned in my hostel life, I think that skill is I cannot learn from anywhere. And so my question is, okay, so I'm like I've gone to a different place, but I'm asking that suppose I am now I'm going like graduating, my graduation is going to be completed, and I want to just now begin exploring all these things. Okay, I'm from a tech background. Okay, now I want to enter it, but there are plenty amount of courses and tech upgradation which are available. So if I ask you that, should I upskill myself from the free courses or courses which are like 500,000 rupees available, or should I go for the formal education like something like MTech? And now we know that this data science, we have all types of courses. I think BTech, sorry,
Right.
MTech, MBA, MCA, everything has data science. You pick up a course and data science is there. I think the day is not far, then medical will be also offered into the data science. So I'm just assuming
Yes.
that. So if I ask you that, should I go for a formal education or should I upskill myself from the like a plenty amount of courses that is available? What will be your choice or a suggestion for a person who is just going to start their job career?
To be very honest, Siddharth, this is a very controversial topic and a debatable topic as well. Because all these years we have always been, as a nation, we have always been somebody who should be educated. We have invested heavily in all of our education resources. Our primary education, I would still say, is one of the best in the world. But when it comes to the secondary education, when you move out of school, when you get a bachelor's degree, I feel that people are still learning about themselves. People are still knowing themselves of what their interests are, what they want to do, what is their passion, what are their tendencies. So usually the reason why we have so many engineers in our country is that since people don't know exactly what they want to do, they get into engineering because it is an easier way to get in, because that is also because we have a lot of engineering colleges in our country. So that is when you are in college, that is when you start realizing. Some people are lucky that they start realizing in their college life that this is not they want what they want to do in the future. They don't want to work in a corporate, they don't want to get into a core domain job. That is what some of them realize, and they then try to choose a different path or a different career option. But somebody who is still skeptical about what they want to do, I always suggest people that once you are graduating, before taking a higher education in the country, try to work in any company, whether it's a startup, whether it's a MNC, or whether it's a mid-sized company. Try to gain work experience of at least 1 year or maybe 2 years, and then you try to focus on what kind of education that you want to do. The reason why I suggest people to work in a corporate, not just corporate, but just get some work experience, is that what you learn in college and what you learn in all your courses, it's pretty different to what we do in corporate. Like, you will have all the technical skills, you will have all the tools and technologies to work on it, but when you start working, you are your end goal is solving a problem. When you have to solve a problem, It's not just the tools and technologies that are going to help you solve it. There are other things as well that you will need, like your communication skills, like your presentation skills, like your analytical ability, your outside of the box thinking. So these kind of skills are will also be needed to get you to the finishing line when you start working in a job. So these kind of skills cannot be taught or cannot be learned in any of the courses or in any of the educational programs that we have. So I always suggest people that try to work in a corporate for 1 or 2 years, because people usually have a tendency, especially in our country, where people want to rush into secondary education. Once you complete a bachelor's degree, and I think it's also related that people have a lot of pressure at their home, because every parent wants their child to have a secondary degree, to have a master's degree as well, which is not wrong. There's nothing wrong in getting a formal education. But my suggestion only is that first try to understand and explore your interests, that whether you really want to do it, or you are just going because maybe it's just a high paying job, or maybe it's going to help you get a high paying job, or maybe only because all of your friends are getting into it. I'll be very honest. When I when I completed my 12th, I didn't have a clue of what I want to do. I just got into engineering because I did not have any other option after studying computer science for 4 years. I did not see that I have any other option. So I just followed my friends into it. But only once I got into it, I started realizing the different aspects of it, that future aspects of it, that after completing my engineering, what are my exit opportunities, what is my career option after that. That is when you start realizing. So when you work in a job, you will get all that time to realize whether you want to stay or whether you want to focus on the next step of doing a master's, of taking an additional course, or taking an educational certificate on that topic. Plus, you also get to meet a lot of people, which is where the networking picture comes in. When you work in a corporate, in a MNC, or in a startup, you will get to meet a lot of new minds, which will also help you get new ideas. That this kind of a career is also possible. People will come from different backgrounds where they will talk to you about how they have built their career over time. You will get mentors, you will meet mentors who will be helping you out with your career journey. So talking to them, understanding where your interests lie in, definitely helps a lot when you work for a couple of years before trying to decide that what you want to do in the future. Coming to your question on whether we need a formal education or whether the skill sets matter more, I feel that in today's generation, and we are only going to get better and better at that time, and I'm already seeing it in a lot of interviews and people as well, that the formal education and the college that you belong from will only matter till a certain point in your career. So let's say that you are from an IIT where uh, you have done computer science, so that is definitely going to help you land your first job. But what you do from your first job, what skill sets that you gain, what new things and different things that you learn in that job is only will only be the talking point when you move next, or when you are moving further in your career. Your college, the certifications are only an add-on, I would say, once you move a little bit down in your career, a little bit further in your career, I would say. So formal education is obviously, there's no doubt, or uh, I don't think that there's something wrong in doing that, but I would also suggest people to don't just go by the formal education. Employers nowadays require skills, they don't need a degree. So in the previous 10-15 years, we were of the mindset where uh, at least when we get a degree, we'll get a job. My father and my even my grandparents, they were of the job that at least just get a degree, you will get a job with that. But in today's scenario, in today's world where where education is so freely available, just getting a degree won't be enough to land your job. You will need to create your own portfolio. You will need to get the extracurricular skills that are needed, and you will need to have all the technical skills as well to land a good high paying job. That is what I feel, and yeah, I think I hope I answered your question.
Yes, yes, yes. Actually, it is this year we have seen that actually many people, if you go on YouTube, right, many MBA experts are there, which are of the opinion that MBA is considered like a placement agency by most of the students who pursue MBA. They are seen as a placement agency, and
Hmm.
it's very correct because if you see that many people say that you just spend 20-25 lakhs and you'll get a starting package of 25-30 lakhs if you go to the top 5, let's say, or top 10 MB colleges. So but this year the scenario was very different. Even people from IM Bangalore, that I know, that many people, half of the people did not got internship. I think they were not able to get the internship, and this happens with every IMs this year. I think IM Guwahati I have read about, IM Bangalore I have read about, some more IMs that I have read about, and from on the top B schools also, there the not all 100% people got placement. Many people got very, either they are not placed or got very low level of placement. Low level of placement means like packages of like 5 to 10 lakhs they have to settle down after spending 20-25 lakh rupees. So do you think that all this is because of the AI which is creating a uncertainty in the market? Like companies are not sure, like should we pay this much to these employees? Are they going to produce any output for us? Are they really skilled, or they have only a formal education? Because there has been an uncertainty around the IT markets around the globe, not just India, around the globe, that they're not sure that where this AI will lead us to, whether it's going to replace the job, or will it settle down, or will it progress, or but not to the scale that it will replace your job. So, no, not even companies are sure at this moment, and that's why you have seen recently that there has been a massive amount of layoff from everywhere around the globe. Every
Yeah.
company has almost done a massive layoff, even from starting from the giants like Amazon, Oracle, up to the startups. Even if startups are fired, we don't get even news that even their whole team is laid off.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you that, like this contradiction is there, which is uncertainty. So how should I remain relevant? Is my first question. And second is the most debatable part, which is AI going to really replace your job?
Yeah. So I think we have been through a couple of challenging years. Like the last 1 or 2 years has been challenging on the hiring front, getting new people in. Always, obviously, we all have been hearing all the news. But I think it's not just because of AI, because there's still a lot of uncertainty, as you mentioned, because companies are still not able to realize the exact benefit that AI is going to provide. So maybe we are able to reduce the operational costs, or maybe we are able to do the operational tasks in a much better way with AI nowadays. And we are also able to have a better understanding of our risk management, of all of our backend working that an organization has, of how can we manage risk better, how can we manage our operations in a better way. We are able to get better and efficient in that aspect, but the real revenue generating machine that a company needs, that is still missing, and that is still a little bit far down the line. We all are very uncertain of where it is going to be, because we see new changes each and every day. So I don't think that the entire layoff that we are seeing, the companies hiring less, it is because of AI. I also do think that it is also because the companies and the organizations overhired during the COVID period, because of a lot of extra optimism that the COVID is going to stay. We are go Because during the COVID time, the IT industry had taken a boom because everybody was working from home. All the companies were relying on IT softwares, working from home. So people were thinking that this is going to stay for a long time, and that's why companies overhired just to manage their workload. But I think with the transformation coming in the last 2 3 years, with the normalcy returning back where people are going back to their jobs, where people are going back to their day-to-day activities of what we had 5 6 years back. I think companies are starting to realize that we don't even know why we hired these many people in the first place. We don't even have the relevant work for these kind of people going forward in the future. And obviously, a part of it is also to do with the efficiency that AI is bringing in. Let's say that we had 5 software developers in a team who were responsible to write a code. Now the AI is able to help all 5 of them. So we don't need all 5 of them. We just need the 2 or the 3 best developers in that team, while the other part can be done with the help of AI. So that is also an example, not just in coding, but in each and every aspect, in HR or in even in analytics or even in business teams. So business teams had an understanding of business. They knew their business really well. So they had an information that cannot be replaced. So now if a system is full of memory, if it's full of understanding all the business logics, all the business concepts, then why do we need 6 people in the business team? Instead, we can just do it with 2 or 3 people. So I think a lot of things are going here and there, and that is where the uncertainty comes into the picture. What was your first question? Sorry, I forgot your first
My
question
question
actually.
was how. Okay, you answered the second question, and my first question was how should I
Yes.
stay relevant in this job market?
I think the only way to stay relevant is to just keep yourself updated with the changing skill set. I don't think that there is any other way. This is the obvious and the most real answer that anybody can give you, is that just try to learn, just try to see what is happening around in the world, because a lot of things are happening. If you just Google the internet and you see that there will be a lot of things that are happening around. So just staying relevant with what are the key technologies that are being worked on, where is the world trying to go on, trying to utilize AI. First trying to understand what is the backbone of an AI system, what are the things that are required to build AI systems, the skills that are required to use AI in your daily work. Try using them. I have seen people who are afraid of using AI, thinking that AI is going to take their jobs. But I would suggest that everybody should use AI wherever they feel possible. If you are in a job, if the AI is going to help you be more efficient by writing your code faster, don't think that if I start using AI, I won't be. I will forget all my coding. I will lose my entire skill set. Don't think like that, because that is anyways going to happen. Writing just a piece of code in interview will not be that relevant going into the future. If AI is going to develop as we think it is, just writing code won't be enough to pass you an interview. So even the interview criteria, the interview process is going to change going forward. That previously, to hire a data analyst, we asked SQL queries, we used to ask them Python questions. But if we are able to see that the AI is already going to do that job for us, why do we need to test a candidate on that aspect? If a candidate knows the basic structure, the basic architecture of those skills, better test them on how he or she is going to think about solving a problem. So, problem solving is going to be a very relevant skill. Whatever you do, whatever AI systems come in, humans will still be solving problems even after 50 years or 100 years down the line. Maybe the problems are going to change, but if you have a problem solving ability in you, then you are always going to stay relevant. Having a good communication skill will also be very important. Let's say that the AI is going to generate the code for you, but how are you going to interpret that code to give you the end result or to help the business with it? That will depend on you, on how you are able to interpret it, how you are able to understand it, and how you are able to communicate it to your stakeholders or to your partners. So having a problem solving mindset, just build on your communication skills and trying to just be curious about new things, about learning new things. I think that is going to help people stay relevant, because when you are curious you will always try to learn new things that are getting launched. So I think that just stay curious, have a problem solving mindset, and keep learning. That would be my only suggestion.
This is great point, Jinesh. And my next question to you is: I usually think that in earlier eras, right? Suppose these e-commerces are there, right? E-commerce, Amazon, Flipkart. They have their warehouse, okay. In their warehouse, when all these AI and were not there, this AI was not into the picture, so they used to have a manual workforce which used to, let's say, enter something on they have a physical copy like notebooks, registers, where they used to mark their entries that okay, this product is sold, this product is not sold, this is some random IDs used to be assigned. I'm talking about, let's say, 10-15 years ago era. And they
Right.
used like it used to operate like a kirana store. And
Hmm.
obviously today, in today's world, we see that we have a lot of, instead of these kirana stores, we have these e-commerce, we have, sorry, quick commerce, and we have these e-commerce. But now the job of these people which used to write all these into the manual entries has created a new set of field which know that as a data engineering field. And suppose now you order something from
Right.
the Amazon or e-commerce, and there is a instantly there is a order ID gets generated from your phone, and the products that you ordered, the amount of each product, the quantity that you ordered, everything is automated and it used to flow through a data warehousing system. So do you think that there this is not a now suppose that the person loses his job, now we don't need those person which we used to need 15 years ago. So do you think this is a loss of the job, or do you think this is a transition of the job, like the nature of the job is getting changed but job is getting not lost? I say that if there is a job loss in one particular sector, there is a huge job creation in another sector. It often relates to this. So I'll say that, do you think that job might not become irrelevant, but the nature of job might change in the upcoming future? Suppose today one type of data analyst is required, but tomorrow, once we let's go into the post AI era, which is we reached up to the point of the developed AI era phase. At that point, this data analyst might become something else, because we don't know what skills might matter at that time. I saw recently that Elon Musk interview with Nikhil Kamath. He was mentioning the same thing, that most of the things that you are studying right now or the skills that you possess might become irrelevant in the upcoming 5 to 10 years. So you don't know itself what you want to study or what you might need to study in the future. So I wanted to ask you that history suggests that the nature of the job becomes pretty different, but it's not that it snatches your job all the way around. Because if you talk about this e-commerce era, right, I can say that at least in my, I come from a tier 2 city. Okay, I come from a tier 2 city, and I can say that even till the rural area, there is this Zomato, Swiggy, and all these are not delivering. Okay, so many of the people who are unskilled, and we can call them as a gig workers. They are unskilled. They have not studied much. They belong to the rural economy. Their income depends on the agricultural things. Now they have also joined this formal set of I can say that not formal, it's gig workers, but it's a type of formal job only. Even if they are becoming a delivery boy, someone is becoming something else in the operational sector basically. So they are also becoming a part, and they are staying at their home and still earning. Let's suppose even in tier 2 city they are earning 20,000 rupees a month. So it's still a big thing for someone to coming from a less formal education background and less skilled background, still earning 20,000, because these giants have reached to the every corner and nook of the country. So I'll say that if something is getting destroyed, still I'll say that some jobs is also getting created and relevant. Maybe the nature is
Right.
shifting from here to there. So what's your opinion on all these scenarios?
I think you rightly mentioned that Going forward, the what AI is, what AI and obviously all the new technologies that are coming in, what it's only going to do is to create more jobs. But obviously, nature of those jobs will be very different than what we have currently. Let's say, for an example, a personal assistant that we used to have in our offices. Previously, when we used to have personal assistants, they are being replaced by chatbots in each and every organization. We hardly need any personal assistants because the chatbot is able to do all the work for us. 5 years, it's just recent, like 5-10 years back, for any small problem or any small issue, we used to go to the bank, like my account is not opening, this is not working fine, this is not working fine. But now the entire solution, all the solutions are there, available digital for us. So obviously, the jobs are still going to be relevant, but the nature of those jobs have changed over time. And with AI and all the new technologies coming into the picture, that is going to still happen. A data analyst, as you mentioned, who is working on the data critically, can easily be done by an AI system, or let's say that an AI agent as well. We have the new AI agent concept that the work that was being done by an employee, which was very repetitive in nature, can easily be taught to an AI agent, whereas the employee can be used to work on something else if he or she has the knowledge. So that is where our job as an employee comes into the picture, where we need to constantly upgrade ourselves, of learning new things, of learning new technologies, and to stay relevant to the industry and to the job market. Like if you are learning a coding language like a C or the SAS language, which is not relevant to the market now, which is already getting decommissioned in almost all the places, that is not going to help you in any way. So staying relevant to the market is where you start learning the things that are in demand. Things like Python, things like different coding platforms that are in demand to the industry, where your skill set will be valued by the organization. That is when the organization will be more than happy to keep you. So I think even when the job nature the job market changes, there will be few skills that will always be relevant. Like we already talked about things like an analytical ability in a person, how the person is able to communicate, how the person is able to critically think about a problem. So those skills are always going to be relevant, whether we are in the AI era or in the post AI era. So I think people should also start focusing and working on those things along with the technical aspects. But yeah, the job market and the job role of anybody is definitely going to change in the next years, and people need to be open and flexible of accepting that change, because as human beings have a basic tendency of not accepting a change that easily, but we have to be flexible enough to learn what is required from us and work on it.
I think you put it in a very good way, Jinesh. And my next question to you, Jinesh, is I'm of the opinion that your curiosity plays a huge role for each and everything that you do. Suppose I'm using a LLM. I am using LLM for everything. Let's say there are, suppose I talk about the IT industry, there are almost 2 crores engineers that are working here directly or indirectly. And I think everyone might be using LLM some way or the other. Something they might be using it. Even if someone is using as a search engine, I'd say. Okay. But the thing is, only the ones who have a huge curiosity might want to know that how LLM is actually built. The thing that I'm
Right.
using, how it is built actually. Okay, how is it something, how it is trained, how it is giving me every information on the live basis, what are the components which it's comprises of, like how it's giving me all these things. So if someone has curiosity only, I think then only someone will want to stay relevant or upskill themselves. You'll see that most of the people are not much concerned about all this. if they have a job and they want to settle down, mostly they are not very much interested in, let's say, career transition or upgrading themselves, or maybe running behind some salary hike, or maybe running behind upgrading themselves skill wise. So I'll say that what do you think that this curiosity plays a major role? This is my opinion, and I am of the opinion that not everyone can develop that curiosity. It comes from your within also, that I want to do something impactful. And the second thing is, only if your tendency, or let's say your mindset, develop towards having a curiosity for learning new things. Suppose you, I saw a thing called let's say Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, or let's say this mining is there, right? This Bitcoin is built by mining the energy. We are mining the energy basically needed. So if I don't have interest in knowing all these things, that what is this mining, what's happening when Bitcoin does not exist, how does it have a cost, like what it is overall level, until and unless then I think I won't be able to upgrade myself. So it's not that just I took a course and started learning, and okay, this is the notes that I'm making, and see, I have all the theories written, I have learned that thing, and my upskilling is done. I don't think that's the structure of upskilling. So I wanted to ask you that what is the way of upskilling yourself? Is it like doing something, like doing some course, or just learning the things that are taught by some teachers or professor in a course, or maybe knowing the background of everything? If I'm learning machine learning, and just suppose I'm learning about a model called logistic regression, linear regression, anything, okay, so my idea is I should not focus that what is this linear regression I have learned and I have done the things, I have learned the equation and all. I should be knowing that on the back end, what is the mathematics behind all these models, how they are working, how they are predicting. Okay, there are, if I go into a bit into technicals, which I don't want to, but I'm just, for example, I'm saying that there are hyperparameters for every model. Okay, now if I don't know that what are these hyperparameters, okay, and how this model is learning, how this model is working, and the back end, what's the mathematics behind it, until and unless till that point I won't be able to do things in the real sense which can impact the business in real terms. Maybe I can learn the model, I can write the code, maybe I can build a code as well, build a model as well, and the model might predict as well whatever my requirement is. But still I believe that until and unless I don't understand the background of it, the very foundation of it, I cannot build something which is relevant for the business. I might be build something which might not impact or impact the business. But if I have a background, if I know the functionalities, the basic foundation, and if I know what I want to do from it, modeling is a I can say medium, not the end output, right? My end output is to impact the business, which can be anything. Let's say I'm predicting just a basic, I'm building a basic model which can forecast the sales growth over the 10 years, and I have, let's say, 10, 20, 30 features of it. Like, what do you think around all these things, that how should we proceed in upskilling yourself? Because upskilling can be of many types. Someone is just learning a SQL course and thinking that I am SQL master, now I'll get an entry into the data analyst, data science job, etc., etc. But there are different ways of upskilling yourself. So I wanted your opinion on this.
Right. I think that's a really good question, and it basically boils down to the foundation that you have built for yourself. To be very honest, if your base, if your foundation is not strong enough for anything, whatever you do, it is at some point in your career, it is going to come out. We have a very famous cricketer who used to say that always believe in the process. MS Dhoni always used to say that always believe in the process of what you are doing, even in a cricket match or even in your life in general. Believe in the process, do the process correctly of what you feel, do the basics right, and then the result will take care of itself. But in today's day-to-day, normal day-to-day life, what we have seen is people always run after the result first. They don't care about what is happening in the back end. They don't want to learn about why is something happening. So that is where the mindset shift comes in, where people don't want to ask the why, people just want to know the what to do, and this is what I will do. But to grow as a person, not just in the corporate or just in your career, but to grow in your life as well, you should always try to understand and question the why aspect of anything that you do. Because when you ask why something happening, that is when you start a conversation that takes you down to the basics of anything. Let's say that somebody has given you a high level understanding of a random topic. Let's try to drill it down till the bottom by asking the why is this happening, why is this happening, why is this happening, and you will get to know the entire picture of it. The another thing that you mentioned is that not everybody has that curiosity, not everybody wants to know, because that is also because of the upbringing. I would say that curiosity in a person only, it's not something that can be taught. It comes by your nature, it comes by different experiences that you have in your life. Even your upbringing has a major part in that. So for myself, if I even when I talk to my mother keeps telling me that when I was a kid, I always used to ask a lot of questions, that why is this happening, why was that happening, and my mother always used to answer me in a positive way, answering all my questions, all my doubts, and she always used to clarify that. So that instilled me to ask more and more questions. So that is where the curiosity mindset starts to build up, and that is where you try to learn and focus on new things, because this is something that nobody can teach you. This is only going to happen if you really want to know something from inside. There are certain things which people are really passionate about. Like, let's say you are passionate about cricket. So you will really have the urge to know and learn things related to it. So if you have the urge, if you love something, if you're passionate about something, you will develop the curiosity for it in due course. But even to approach something, even if you want to learn something, I would say that always start with the basics first, start with the fundamentals, even if it takes time, and always try to focus on those fundamentals before achieving something big. I have seen people, I have even talked to people where people are building dashboards, Tableau dashboards, Power BI dashboards, but they don't know what is SQL, what is a database. They have been building dashboards using Excel, but they don't know the fundamentals of databases or database systems. So that is the gap that people which they will face in the later part of their career when they have large data sets to work on. So when they are given with a large data set, they will be like, okay, what is this? How will I know this? So it is always advised that you start with the basics. You build your fundamentals properly, you know the back end of anything. People are talking about AI, machine learning, deep learning, but most of the people don't know what is running behind it. Why is AI still a big question mark? People are still not understanding, and people are still not reading about the why is it a question mark. People just want to know the buzzwords, but we also need to start getting deeper into some topic if we want to know more and more about it. Just by Google, in today's generation with internet, just use Google, Chat GPT, just write what is machine learning. That will take you to a next question that you will have. What is deep learning? Then that is going to take you to something else. That is going to take you to something else. So that is how we should start learning, and try to read more and more about what you are curious about, or what you are passionate about. I think what has also helped in my career is reading a lot of books. So staying curious also comes from, I don't know if it's related or not, but for me, when I started reading more and more books, I was getting more and more curious to know different things, because I got to know a few things from books which I didn't even know about. So I started Googling about it. When I googled about it, I got to know a new thing, and then I started to read more about it. So that is how you even expand your horizon of knowledge. But yes, staying curious, as you mentioned, will be one of the most important skills going forward. And people who are able to ask the why will definitely be able to help themselves understand their problems and their questions, but they will also be able to help the business in a much better way, because you know the problem and then you will be able to build a solution related to that.
I think this is very good point, Jinesh, and I think you provided a very holistic overview of everything, and I think the audience might get a lot of things from everything that you have highlighted. I think we have talked about this was
I hope
discussion
so.
was not about I think around the go into the technical parts of coding languages, or but it's more about how in general AI is going to shape our future, how we can stay relevant in the upcoming future, or what we might need to do. And we have talked about almost every aspect, from formal education to upskill to the job loss to the job creation. I think almost we have covered every arena of this AI. And I'll say that Jinesh, this was a very fruitful discussion for me as well, and I hope for the audience as well. This will be a fruitful discussion, and I know about you as well. Of the camera, I've discussed with you that you are also into the investment or money markets or capital markets. You are more into towards the investment finance domain also, because you are also coming from the investment bank only. You are working in JP Morgan, so you have that financial background. I also have that same background, so naturally it creates a curiosity towards that domain in which you are working. So I'll say that I would like to have another podcast with you, maybe someday or the other, about how all this investment and all might be helpful. And we'll talk more about from the common man perspective, not from the who are the experts of this investment domain, but from the common man's perspective. Like suppose these gig workers are there, some rickshaw wala is there, or some these street vendors are there. How they can also
Right.
better manage their money, because I think personal finance is finance later, personal first, so it's too personal. And
Definitely.
my opinion is that I am of the view that suppose I come from a background of finance and I'm working in the finance domain, and I am into the stock markets. Let's suppose I'm into the stock markets, but it's not that if I am a stock market I am generating a return. I can say to a street vendor that you should also go and stick in the stock market. Here you will get this much percentage of return. I think that is not possible for him to understand itself, because he doesn't know that what stock market is only. Forget about doing investment. It's a kind of, because majority of the common people, whether anyone likes it or not, but they perceive stock market as a gambling. The mindset in the people, except if you leave behind the formal sector job doers who are like working 9 to 5 job, most of the common man thinks stock market as a gambling. Even if I talk about my father, he thinks that it's a gambling. So we'll discuss all this in our next podcast. Maybe we'll connect with you, and I think that this podcast today on the AI, and it's very fruitful, might be very fruitful for the audience as well. And if we get something out of this, we'll do more such podcast in the near future, and we'll discuss multiple aspects of it. Because why actually I started this podcast, because I personally am a huge lover of podcast, because I have learned a lot of things from podcast, watching from finance podcast, technical podcast, and I come from these backgrounds only. So I am a technical guy coming from into a finance, working in a finance domain. So I have knowledge only about these two things. So I try to bring more perspective, more minds, more, like I'll say that multi-dimensionality functions of everything, every domain, and more what's coming in the future about AI, what's tech perspective, something new which is coming into the domain. We'll discuss all this, and I'll say that this is our first podcast. So I'll ask the audience as well to provide your feedback in the comment section, and whatever you feel that we can do such type of podcast. You can also, if you like to come on the podcast, you can comment down. I'll invite you as well if you have a new perspective, or you are a experienced person, or let's say you have some industry domain expertise. I'll say that you also come on the podcast, guide the common people, guide the particular sector people, let's say IT people. So I'll say that you can also comment down that you also want to come to the podcast, or maybe you want to give some suggestion and feedback, anything that you feel like. And I'll ask you to do the closing remarks, Jinesh, whatever you feel.
Sure. I think it has been a great experience. The questions that you asked, I think the conversation in general has been so much of it has helped me learn so many new things about the perspective of what even you are thinking and what is going around in the world. And I hope that whatever we talked about, it helps the common people. I'm definitely looking forward to the next series of podcasts with you. I'll be more than happy to join you and partner you and help the audience get some understanding and learn from all of our experiences. I have been following your LinkedIn, your YouTube channel as well, and to be very honest, all the LinkedIn posts that I read, I get to know at least something out of it. I learn something out of it, and I would also request everybody to follow you on LinkedIn, even on YouTube, and to if you want to learn about data, if you want to learn about what is coming in the future, please follow Siddharth, because he has been an amazing contributor to the data analytics, data science domain, where he's helping out people out of his time to get a new job, to get into this industry. He is also a mentor on TopMate, where he has already helped hundreds of people to land a new job or to transition their career from a non-tech background to a tech background. So you are already doing a good job, and I just wish that you keep doing the same and keep helping people out. So thank you so much, Siddharth, for inviting me. It was a wonderful opportunity, and I hope it helps people.
Sure, Jinesh. So we'll connect again very soon, and I hope we'll explore some different arena of the topic or something new. Will bring some fresh perspective in the domain of finance and AI. So we'll connect again, Jinesh, soon. And thank you so much, Jinesh,
Sure,
for providing your insights, your opinions, your thought. Things are going to be lined up in the upcoming future, and I'm hoping to connect with you again soon.
sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jinesh. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.